What's up, guys? It's Monty here, and I just spent the past half hour talking to myself, thinking I was filming a video and I didn't have it on the right setting. So, I'm a little annoyed, but you know what? We're just gonna make it do what we do. Today we're here with a Monte'S monologue because I just have water, and so I felt that it was weird calling it a tea and thoughts because I don't have tea, and you can plainly see that I don't have tea. So we're calling it a monologue because that's what it is anyway, pretty much. So that's what we're gonna do. And it's alliterative, so I like alliteration. So I'm going to talk about the media that I consumed in the month of April. It's now May, still watching these things, so we're talking about four or five-ish TV shows and 2 books. So, without further ado, let's get it going. First up, we're going to talk about is there'll also be time stamps in the description bar down below in case you don't want to watch everything, and hopefully I'll remember to do that. So, that being said, the first up is Dear White People, just because it's, the thing that just happened. So, that was the note card, so I remembered to talk about it. Overall, love the show. I'm not going to get too in-depth here because I want you to actually go and watch the show. I don't want to really have a discussion about it at this point in time. I loved it. Episode 5, which was actually directed by Barry Jenkins, I didn't really realize that was the episode, was my favorite episode. It's also the one that I feel it's heavy. So there is definitely some triggers there if you're, sensitive to gun violence, that kind of a thing. Like, no weapons are actually fired, but a firearm is definitely held. And it's a very intense, heavy scene. So if that's something that triggers you, just be prepared for episode 5. Although I really loved it. The only thing I didn't like about the show was Gabe. I thought he was just disgusting, and I didn't appreciate him. I didn't appreciate what he had to the narrative. For those who are curious, I have seen the 2014 movie. I watched it a couple years ago when it came out. I'm not going to compare the two. I don't think you need to see one to watch the other. They stand on their own. They're very good. Go watch. I even think they're both available on Netflix. I could be wrong, but I know for a while there, Dear White People was on Netflix. I'm sure you can find it somewhere else. You can probably rent it for like $5 on iTunes or something. Like, it's a thing you can watch if you want to compare the two. It's not necessary. They stand on their own. They're both equally great. In the show, my 2 favorite characters were Coco. Love me some Coco. Like, Sam was cool and all, and so is... She's a cool character, but I feel like Coco is definitely underappreciated. Lionel, definitely great. And even Joelle, Sam's friend. Praise those 3. Top 3 characters right there. And then you get Reggie and Sam, like 4 and 5. The next thing I want to talk about, just because it's canceled, is Good Girls Revolt. It premiered back in October, I believe, on Amazon Prime. So it's canceled. It's not coming back. I'm very sad. It has like Hunter Parrish and Anna Camp and the guy who played Henry on Ugly Betty. They're all there, and then the main actress is somebody I don't really remember the name of. So it starts and it's set in late 60s, like 69 and 70s era Americana in New York at a newspaper. That's all fictional, like fictional characters for the most part, but it is based on true events. So the things that they're detailing in the show did happen, just they did fictionalize certain aspects of what was going on. I wasn't a fan of everything that happened. Again, it's not really a show that I want to talk about too many spoilers with. But I like the acting, the costumes. I love it. I'm very sad that I'm not going to get any more of it. But it is what it is. I think you should watch it if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. I don't think it's worth it just to get it for that, though. The next thing I want to talk about is The Good Wife, and just, not The Good Wife, The Good Fight. But 1 second. When I did that, I had a fear that this was going to fall down, and then it would not be pretty. But The Good Fight is a continuation of The Good Wife, which this is my DVD box set thing for seasons 1 through 4. Obviously, you guys can read. I have faith. It's a continuation. You don't have to have watched all 7 seasons of The Good Wife in order to watch The Good Fight. It helps because they do bring in characters who appeared on The Good Wife. Several of the characters in the main cast are from The Good Wife, but it does stand on its own. It was definitely crafted with the idea that this is an independent property with the same characters. So that's nice. It's nice for people who have watched it and are following it. It is behind a paywall. It's only available on CBS All Access at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if someday it was on, DVD, because that's what they do. Like House of Cards, you can get on DVD. Orange is the New Black, you can get on DVD. I think it's like $5 or so a month, or like $10 a month for CBS All Access. You can also just get the week-long free trial. There's only 10 episodes. They're all out. It's a complete season. Season 2 won't be out till next year. So, that's what I would recommend. You just, unless you're really interested in their whole host of things that CBS offers, if you want to watch that new Star Trek series they're going to be doing, if you want to watch every episode of The Big Bang Theory ever because you're a huge Big Banger or something, I don't know. But The Good Fight is definitely worth your watching. I definitely recommend it. And I'm excited for Season 2. I'm excited to see where the characters go. The storyline is obviously going to be great because it's going to pick up where this last season left off. And if it doesn't even just pick up where we left off, it will definitely have to address what happened. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Next, we're going to talk about Riverdale. And I'm saving this one for last because I can talk spoilers about this shit because we're just going to do it anyway. The first thing we're going to talk about is going back a little bit to Jughead's birthday in episode 10. I believe it was episode 10. I didn't really talk about it then. And I did film a video, and then I didn't upload it. And then I filmed one for 11, I didn't upload it. So that's why we got this monologue happening. And that's also why the monologue is going really fast, because I've already said all these things. And so if you want me to elaborate, just leave a comment down below, and I'd be more than willing to type out a paragraph detailing my thoughts on things that you felt I didn't elaborate on. That being said, I didn't appreciate Jughead's birthday party because it felt like it was being thrown by people who didn't know him and who didn't respect him, and I felt that was, like, kind of the point. And I understand that a lot of people just thought it was really funny to meme the part where he was like, I'm different, I'm weird, or whatever. Like, they thought that was, like, really funny. It was, like, over the top. It was so melodramatic. It was so meta. But at the same time, it was kind of like, Archie didn't really fight to not have the party happen. Like, he just allowed it to go on. And then Betty didn't really care that it wasn't Jughead's thing, and nobody really cared that everybody was there, and, like, nobody really tried to stop the party, in my opinion, from getting to where it was. The only interesting thing that happened and came out of it was the idea that Alice Cooper has this interesting past, and bitch, I want to hear that past. I want to hear it. I want to know what Alice Cooper was doing. I want to hear the stories that FP has to tell. Like, if I could get, like, a little comic book with telling me everything, if I could get a little webisode, I don't care how I have to get it. I want to know. And maybe they'll delve into that in season 2 because they won't have to deal with the murder of Jason Blossom. But bitch, I'm excited to hear those stories. I want to know. Like, give me a little fan tell-all book that costs $75. I will buy it. I need to know about this Cooper's past. But that was the only good thing that came out of Chaos episode 10. As far as episode 11 goes, to Riverdale and back, I thought it was a weak episode, only because I had to continue on with my Josie McCoy watch, because her 5-second clip at the beginning singing into the little PA system of Riverdale High School does not count. And it really bothered me because they had then go on to be a whole thing about how Archie was gonna, he wanted his mom to see a performance, so he got to, perform at homecoming when the Pussycats are the best act in town, so their asses should run that stage, and the mayor should be introducing them. Like, Archie and Veronica, in my opinion, are not the musical act that get the mayor. Like, I don't care what kind of important school function this is, outside of it being a homecoming, it's like an annual tradition type shit, whatever. Archie and Veronica get Principal Weatherby. They don't get mayor. They don't get Mayor McCoy. That's not something that happens. No, no, no. And it's also just annoying on the fact that because, like, now that Valerie isn't a love interest for Archie because she's like, I'm better than this, like, I'm not going to, play this game with you, there's no real black person in the main cast, even though you will find Josie on all of the promo material. Like, she is on the promo material, but I understand that she's busy, she's doing other things with her career right now. Just like Ross Butler, who won't be returning for season 2, is out there doing other things with his career. I think he kind of shot himself in the foot because he put all his chips on 13 Reasons Why, and everybody is coming out and attacking that show. Now, full disclosure, I haven't watched it. I have no interest in watching it because I'm not trying to watch that kind of a thing. but I feel like he kind of put his chips on the wrong horse here, and so I'm happy that he's trying to get out there and act more. But I feel like, I understand the showrunner wanting to, like, we want to use Reggie and we can't use Reggie because Ross has all these other commitments. So I feel like he might have chosen the wrong commitments. I don't know. We'll see where his career goes. But again, it's kind of like this thing where they're not really available. They don't get to be used, and so it's just it does kind of lead to boring storylines because when they do appear, they're not really important. Like the last time we saw Reggie, he was bar hopping with Veronica, and then the last time Josie had any kind of significance was in that same period. So the same situation. So I want better for Josie because she is my girl. I love her so much. And I still have to say that I'm not at all invested in who killed Jason Blossom. I still don't care. I think it's interesting to see how everything is interconnected and they're laying the foundation to be interested in all the characters. That I think is smart because then in season 2, when we don't have a dead body, hopefully, we can continue on with the show. We'll still be invested. And so I do think that season 2 has better potential than season 1 did, because they stretched out this mystery to the point where there was no real evidence, and when they did have the evidence, like, it kind of just vanished or was burned, or it was destroyed. The only thing that wasn't destroyed so far has been the engagement ring. So I don't think it's going to be that important, although I do think that because all the evidence was destroyed or hidden or just didn't exist, that's why in the promo for episode 12 they have it being that the murder was recorded, because then there's no evidence and shit. So if it's like, oh, we caught him on tape, well, obviously he's the person that did it. So that I think is kind of lazy, and that's whatever. The next thing I want to talk about is Big Little Lies. I didn't finish the HBO 8-part miniseries, but I did listen to the audiobook, and it was so good. It made me so happy. And I feel like, again, just like Riverdale, it's very character-focused. It's not all about the murder, but you are still in... I think Big Little Lies is better in the fact that you are invested in the murder. Maybe because you know less, you just know that somebody is dead, but you don't know who, and you don't know how, and you do know when. You do know when. So you know when, but you don't know who, and you don't know why, and you don't know how. Until it's revealed to you at the end, and even then it's good. Like, it's so good, and I was invested from start to finish. I loved it from start to finish. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. Like, I was hooked. I was captivated. I loved it. Madeline is my favorite character, and that's all there is. Like, she was just the bomb diggity, and no one says bomb diggity, but she was the best, and she made me a very happy reader, especially after listening to The Magician's Land, the 3rd and final book in Lev Grossman's Magician's Trilogy. That shit to me was garbage. Not garbage, because I gave it 3, I think, or 4 stars on Goodreads, and I could understand why people say that the series is really just one big book. And I do feel like it was one story, and it was just cleaved in parts that made no sense, and it was told in ways that made no sense. And I gave it 3 or 4 stars mainly because of just the way it was written, the kind of sarcastic, irreverent, it was just unapologetically kind of, I'm say modern. I'm sure that's not really the right word to use there, but it wasn't stuffy, and it was a breath of fresh air, the way it was written, kind of. And I appreciated that. Well, maybe not fresh air, because I do think it's kind of similar to Dipping Out of Frame again, to when Chad Coltkin writes his books. So I have Men, Women, and Children here. I have The Average American Marriage right behind there. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, you know I've read most of this man's books. And they're very similar, I think, in the way that Chad and Lev write. They're kind of a similar thing, even though Chad writes contemporary, and Lev's out here writing fantasy. There are similarities, I think. So I appreciated the writing style. That I've always loved about the books. But there were just certain things I didn't really care about, and I feel like they were handled in ways I didn't really care. And I don't even care to talk about them in like a ranty way, because it happened so long ago, when I've watched so much good things since then, and I got to listen to Big Little Lies right after. Like, everything that I have to say that's negative about the book has just, it would put me in a place that I don't want to be. So I can't really recommend people to read. I wouldn't recommend these books to anybody. I wouldn't recommend The Magicians or The King or Magician's Land to people. If they're on your TBR, far be it from me to be like, nah, don't read that shit. Like I would have told you with the second book. I do think that things get better, but I also think that things happen that are still convenient, that are still sloppy, that are still just unplanned. Very much like Chad Coltkin. Chad Coltkin gets these scenarios towards like, okay, that's cool, and then you get towards the end of the book, and you're kind of like, how are you gonna wrap that up? Like, how are you gonna do that? And I feel like it's worse with the Magicians because it's a series, and events that happen in the second book kind of get redone and remixed for the third book, in my opinion. And so I felt like it was a situation where we had been there, we had done that. I thought we had solved that problem. So why is this a problem now? So again, don't really recommend it. I enjoyed my time reading it. I don't know if I'm going to continue on with the sci-fi original TV show. I can respect the show more because I finished the series now. I can understand where they got certain elements from, and I'm less bewildered and upset. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I don't know if that's the adaptation I want, and it's not. And I don't know if it's the adaptation that works with the source material. So those are my thoughts on everything that I've been reading and watching and enjoying. Let me know what you guys have been up to down in the comment section below. I know it's been a while, and I'll see you guys in the future sometime with another video. But until then, I'm just gonna say bye.